This is NOScast here, episode 23.
23.
23, Itchy. How,
23.
how's it been, Brody? I haven't talked to you in a hot minute.
Well, you know, it's been all right. I've had a little like throws that are a little hard to swing at. Um,
What do you mean by
with
throws?
I was pretty much saying it's like with school and stuff like that. Like I had like figuring out how much like money I was going to get for school with like financial aid.
Yeah.
Um, I had a couple throws. It's like, oh yeah, my scholarship wasn't going to come because I was one credit short. So I had a talk and everything. And everything here in the next couple days, I should figure out where I can get that extra credit. But if I can't get it, because I was talking to my counselor, if I can't get it, then I can write an appeal to not need it. Because as long as I don't, just try to avoid taking the credit, as long as I have proof for it,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
working with my counselor to try to get this figured out. But it sounds like I need faculty approval. But my
Uh-huh.
job, I'm working with the school. You remember
Yeah,
with
yeah. With your job.
the the administrator assistant, the lab assistant.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
so I'm doing that, and the class that I'm trying to enroll in for one credit is an internship job or an internship class. So, and I talked to my counselors, like, yeah, you could use that as your internship class, but she's on vacation right now, so I need system approval to be able to
Mm-hmm.
go through with it. But yeah, that's until
Uh,
that's all figured out. That's $10,000 left on the table. Well, damn near, not exactly
well,
10,000, but
damn.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
okay, so okay, so I haven't really done college. So, like,
Uh-huh.
I know what you're talking about, but I don't know what you're talking because I have siblings and whatnot. So,
Mm.
but elaborate the whole credit part. Like, you don't have enough credits, so your shit isn't going through. Like, what do you mean by
Right.
that?
So for my scholarship, which
Scholarship, yeah.
this scholarship's only for the state I'm living in.
Okay.
Um, so for this scholarship, I need to be taking 30 credits a year.
Holy
Well,
moly.
this last school year, I only took 29,
Mm-hmm.
so I was one credit short to be able to get the reward for this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hadn't taken out any of this reward because I was on academic probation, so I got myself all off of it and everything. So I was expecting it, but I was short sighted to not see that one credit requirement that I missed. So it's
Mm-hmm.
partially my fault, but you know, I came in, I paid for a whole year myself out of pocket, which I mean is a lot of money, but you know, I got myself back in good standing. So I really think like it'll all come together in the end.
Okay. So I'm about to get off topic here
Uh,
for a bit. If you want to come back, we can. So I literally just found this out yesterday. Like
uh,
literally, I was just doing some tests and whatnot, and I found this out yesterday. So do you know you can like stream privately to your YouTube account? What I mean
what
by
do you
that,
mean?
what I mean by that is like you know how you can put a YouTube video on private and it's locked and no one can see it. And it's just only you can see it, or only anybody that
Right,
goes
right.
into that account can see it. So what I learned yesterday, it's probably been there for years, but I just found this out, is if you can live stream to your YouTube account privately and it will upload privately, if that makes
Okay.
sense. So
Yeah.
like let's say I'm not doing it on this podcast, okay? I'm just recording regularly, all right? But let's say if I live stream this podcast privately,
Right.
and I upload it to my YouTube account, but it's on private. You know what I'm saying? So when we're
Mhm.
done, it's still on private. So what I'm trying to say, like, I don't have to upload it. Like, I don't have to re-upload it. I can just live stream it to YouTube, and we can talk as long as we want without any disruptions of memory or whatever the hell. You know what I'm
Right,
saying?
right.
I haven't went through the whole thing yet. Like, I don't know if there's any any what's the fallbacks? There could be some fallbacks. I haven't went through the whole thing.
It's the same fallbacks you'd be getting from streaming anyway. Any bitrate issues you ever run into, it would be those would be the problems that's the only problem.
Yeah, I knew the bitrate issue. I'm saying like
Uh-huh.
any other fallbacks that I haven't noticed yet, I will eventually notice or whatever or
Mhm.
see. But I'm just like
Right.
because like I was like I want to make some podcast gameplay, but I only have a certain amount of memory. What happens if this gameplay goes longer than I wanted to expect it to go longer, and it just dies, and it cuts off at a wrong moment. So I
Right.
was like,
Right.
fuck it. I would do this stream to YouTube privately thing and see what happens. And I
Uh-huh.
did it, and I upload the stream privately. Like I didn't even upload. Like no one knew I was streaming. Basically,
Right.
I didn't even see the stream on my YouTube while I was streaming. Like it didn't show up anywhere. But when I finished the
Right.
stream, it uploaded it one night, and I can watch it. You know, I
Mhm.
can watch it and whatnot. So I was like, that's actually like pretty cool. Like
Yeah.
that's actually pretty cool that I'm able to do. Yes, I know the bitrate issue and all that, but that's expected.
Yeah. It's a sacrifice that you're willing to take. Because like if you really didn't want to have any sacrifices, then you would invest into getting larger amounts of
Yes.
memory,
Uh-huh.
storage. Sorry, like you
Yeah.
might want
Which
more
I'm
RAM,
going
but
to invest in that later on.
yeah,
Which I invested a lot into this. Like
yeah.
I'm over
You've bought a lot of redundant equipment that you're
yeah.
just swapping back and forth. You're not really broadening your investment at the moment on it, but you're doing some investment into some areas that I'd say were cool. They're the cool ideas about what you're trying to do, but they're not necessarily everything you need, especially the ones that you've invested multiple times into.
Mm-hmm.
um just trying to figure out the perfect one. That's a great way to overspend on your setup because you don't even have everything that'll give you the best setup for what you're trying to do.
Indeed.
um yeah,
So like
like
like I don't know, like well, that's the way it is type shit. When you get
yeah,
into
yeah.
this YouTube shit and the whole streaming, you're
Hmm.
gonna start spending money that you don't need to spend on, but you want to see, well, if I buy this, would this work? And
Right.
you want to see the
Right.
outcomes of shit and
Mhm.
whatnot. Which it is what it is at the end. That you can't
Right.
change
Like
that.
it's a sacrifice. It's like you're trying to figure out your way. Like I know at this point in time you're not really, having large enough growth to like, get anything out of it. But like I know this is what you've been after for like a long time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And like and whether or not like it ever does become, profitable for you, I know you want to do it just because that's what you want to do. Um
Well, like I don't want to work. To me, it's like my dad's retiring. Okay,
mhm,
he in a week or some shit like that, and
mhm.
he's on vacation for the rest of his life, pretty much. Like he's like
Right.
I'm all once I retire, I'm on vacation. Like I'm
Uh-huh.
gonna do whatever I want. I'm it's boogie time type shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, right.
and as of me, I'm not on vacation. I'm not gonna be on vacation for a very, 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 very long time.
Yeah.
Unless somehow this YouTube shit blows up and I can quit my job and just do this
Right,
for
right. I mean, you can always try to build your avenues, like just because I for one, I didn't do good in high school. I know you're in the same boat where like you didn't really do good in high school, right?
well,
I
it's
mean,
not
I'm
that I didn't do I didn't like school. It's not that I didn't
uh
like school. Like high school was
right,
cool. I just didn't like school. You know what I'm saying?
right. But don't let that detract from your ability to learn things, right? Because if you're
Yeah,
trying
yeah,
to like
true.
get to the point in the world where you don't sit and rely on a job to make your money, like yeah, YouTube is a way a lot of people have made it. Like really a small like minority of people on YouTube are actually making it on YouTube because everybody knows about them, so it seems bigger than more a higher percentage than it really is if you really look at everybody uploading to YouTube. um
Yeah.
so so there's that, like, and I just think if you, instead of just focusing on being a YouTuber, just in general, learning and building the skills of, not just making the content, of producing it and doing the videos and stuff like that, but also the aspects that aren't as liked, such as the editing. Those aspects are usually, when YouTubers get big enough, they hire somebody to do that. But like a
Mm-hmm.
lot of them, they do it themselves at first because that's expensive. And if you
Yeah.
can do it, that's a way you can make money. You can edit other people's videos to make money. If your channel doesn't ever blow up, you could still be making money doing editing. And
Mm-hmm.
you're still working in YouTube, and you get to, like, literally, if you're doing it for other people, you can see you have closer insight to how other people do stuff.
Yeah,
Um,
like, yeah, like I totally like get where you're coming from. Like,
yeah, like, I'm saying, like, learning, like, school has tainted a lot of people's view on learning. Like, I didn't have a good experience in high school. I didn't like it very much. I mean, I wasn't the type of kid that was skipping classes, but I would be the type of kid that was like, I'd not fucking pay attention. I'd lay my head down and go to sleep, type of kid, you know.
yeah, like I didn't do all that. Like I paid attention. Like there was times like yeah, I would lay my head down and fall asleep and whatnot. Like
Mm,
but I wasn't like I was that type of person who would just sit in class and just like listen to the teacher talk for like and to like look bored as hell. You know what I'm saying?
right. Well, I would just, zone out
Well,
usually.
yeah, everyone has those times where they zone out in
Yeah, I
class.
was pretty much 24 hours a day, like, just zoning out. Mind you, I wasn't smoking weed back then. I didn't smoke weed until after I finished high school. Um,
Mm-hmm.
like, that's just what I did. Like, I, have had the traits of a stoner before I ever smoked.
like
uh,
like I don't know. I just never been into school. Like learning out, learning. I've always like me is I learn in my own way. Like if I want to learn about something, I'll go look on Google and whatnot and go learn
exactly.
from it.
That's what I'm trying to, like, promote here, is that, letting, like, just don't not learn.
Yeah,
Don't not evolve your skills.
yeah.
Um, like, I know I'm using double negatives.
Mhm.
Double negatives they are logical. Like, I know a lot of people prefer pros versus, like, cons, negatives. Um, so, like, another way of saying it is pretty much saying is, like, you should always be learning something, and it doesn't matter how you learn it. People learn differently.
We
People like to learn differently, and don't just learn. Like, some people like to learn just for learning, but, what I'd say, like, for you, you should spend the time learning the stuff that you're trying to do.
we yeah. Like me is like you can learn everything you learn in school. You can learn on Google.
Hmm. Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You can learn on Google. You don't need to hear someone talk about something that you learn something in 5 minutes for 2 hours.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Hearing someone talk for hearing
But
a
the only
lecture,
difference is, like,
you
the
get a
one thing.
diploma.
No, no, that is a difference. But the other big difference, I would say, is that the repetitive nature, right? One
Mm-hmm.
thing that a lot of students find annoying when they learn stuff in school, because they're not learning it because they want to learn it, they learn it because they have to learn it. But that's where the annoyance really comes in. But it's the repetitiveness. They make you do the same things. Like, we just did this. I'm tired of doing this. It's the same thing we've been doing. That's You don't just learn something. Like, you might be able to get it now and understand it for, like, a couple days if you're only, like, experiencing it one time. But the doing things over and over again aspect of it, keep doing it. Don't just stop doing it after you learned it. It's like, that's cool. That's a cool thing. Like, that's a cool new information I learned. But actually, like, doing it and keep doing it and refining it. That's the part that really learning comes in. You don't really learn something just from hearing it and looking it up once.
Like like when I graduated high school,
Mm-hmm.
it took a couple of months, but like when I graduated high school, everything I learned went out the window.
Right, because you didn't like it, you weren't using it.
Well, it's not that I
And
wasn't using it. Like it's just like, well, I graduated high school. I don't need to know all this shit no more. Like
right,
it's
yeah, I
irrelevant to me.
mean, I think like you're viewing it like it's not that I wasn't using it, but like tell me how much were you using it? Like if you're not using it, you're not going to remember it.
Yeah, like math, for example. Like a lot of math that I learned in high school. Like I wasn't good at math, but I wasn't like shit at math either.
Right.
I lost a lot of it. Like, like my
Mhm.
times tables, like, that basic shit. And I lost a lot of like,
See, I lost a lot of the stuff that like, memorizing like oh, you got to remember your nines. You got to remember like I remembered the rules, right?
I know,
I didn't remember the stuff that they told me to memorize.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um
Like I remember basic math. Like
mhm.
2 times 2, 5 times 2, like the basic 2 plus 2, 2 minus, like, like the
Right.
basic
I mean,
shit.
to be honest with you, dude, all you really need to know is 1 plus 1 and a basic understanding of patterns.
Yeah.
Um, I mean, I know I'm saying that coming from a standpoint of getting some computer science education in the way, like, computers do things. But, like, that's fundamentally all you need to know is that 1 plus 1 equals 2,
Hmm.
0 equals 0, and 1 equals 1, and then know your basic order of operations.
Yeah, like, and that's the thing, and I've been like this in high school at least. I was like this all my life is when I finish something, after a while, it just left my brain. Like it kind of like
Mhm.
if I a test or like whatever, I kind of like zoned out and was like, okay, I don't need to remember this no more. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Besides like basic ass like math or like basic history, like you learned about the same shit in history over and over and over until it gets bowls into your brain that you just cannot remember it. Like there's no
Right.
way you're not gonna remember it, whatever. Like slavery,
Like
like
they teach like depending on the year and the class you're taking, they teach different stuff in history. But like because
yeah.
there's the world history, there's the American history, there's like you know and the individual teacher will determine like how much time, like I mean not just the teacher, it's also the school district and what they're after, um is going to influence how much time they're going to be spending on each topic. Like if you're taking the American history class like I took in middle school, like you're going to be spending the entire time learning about I actually never passed this back then, and I have Google Maps that to thank for my laziness here. Um, but like write down all the states on a map. I
uh,
got close, but I never I never passed it. Um, and fuck it, I don't give a shit. It's like
well,
I have
like
Google Maps and stuff.
Well, yeah, like like I was a real big cheater when I was in school. Like I
Uh huh.
cheating was my,
The,
you know what I'm saying? Not like boyfriend girlfriend cheating, but like cheating on tests, like just cheating in
right.
general in school. That was my big thing. Like like if I can find either way to get away with something, I'll do it. But it wasn't
Mhm.
just me. Everyone I knew in high school was cheating. Like everyone was trying to like, can I copy off your test? Can I copy your answers for this homework? Blah 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 blah. Blah. Like
Right.
everyone was
Right.
cheating on that shit. And it wasn't like that. Like you like the thing about that was you wasn't frowned upon if you were cheating. Like yeah, the teachers would frown upon you, but you like other students wouldn't have like you're a cheater. Like you
Right.
know what I'm saying?
And the
Like
problem with that, like I understand where people that are doing it coming from, especially in the standpoint it's like, well, I'm not choosing to go to school. I'm kind of forced to go to school, being K through 12, like,
mm-hmm.
those are the ages you go to school. Um like I understand it more at that point versus like because really when you get to college, like it's an offense. Like you can get into trouble. Like you can get kicked out of school and stuff like that. Um
Mm-hmm.
like it's not and it's more than just that, like the real argument which like I kind of believe in, but at the same time um like I also being for students of that age not having the choice of being there, like I just really think people learn in their own way. And having people like really it's more important to know what somebody wants to do to really cater what they should learn, you know
Mm-hmm.
like I know we want to produce jack of all trades. We want to produce people that can do like basically everything.
Yeah.
So because, but like, you know, some people, they might just do better off like trying to specialize at a young age.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Meaning like they take on what they're interested in and develop skills around that area.
Yeah.
More people being educated that way um, would greatly um, influence the future generations because you know having more people in raised that way, learning that way would change up the entire market
Most
because of
definitely.
because there'd be so many specialized like you know the specialization is a good thing. You know, somebody specializing in something that's they can do great at their task. And I believe that you know some people like, especially with the cheating, like they ask, like getting back to the cheating and stuff like that. Like the problem is with cheating, it's like yeah, you're able to pass your test, you're able to get through it, but really, the only person you're harming is yourself because like yeah, you're getting through it, and yeah, you got your diploma, like your high school diploma at the end of the day, but you didn't really learn anything.
Yeah. And like to me, yeah, you're right about that, but it's like you just want to get through it. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly,
It's not
exactly.
about you didn't learn anything. Like, yeah, but it's just like you just want to get through the fucking.
Right, I know, but it's a side effect. Like you just want to get through, but the side effect is you don't actually learn anything.
Yeah.
Um, like I'm not saying that that's the point.
Uh-huh.
Um, I'm saying that like you're missing out on like you have the stuff thrown in front of you, and you're really just cutting yourself short by going through with cheating like that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
you're not you're losing out pretty much doing that. Like yeah, you're doing good, and perhaps if you were really like had no hope to begin with, perhaps it might get you farther than never getting a high school diploma to begin with. Um,
Uh-huh.
but at the same time, like at the end of the day, I just really believe people should learn in the best environment for themselves. Like not everybody, you know, like needs like there's fundamentals about math that everybody should know, but like you know not
Uh-huh.
everybody's paths are like oh I want to be a farmer. Knowing math, like how important is math? Yes, it's very important because you know they can use math to make it more efficient, but
Mm-hmm.
like you know they could learn it in their own way, they could figure it out as they're growing up, they can get the math problems not sitting in a room being like how do you solve this problem, they can get the math problems thrown at them by seeing the problem that's actually affecting them right then and there.
Yeah, like it to me like when I do math, I just do it on a calculator. Like I just go on my phone, just doing it. I don't do the whole write out shit, do the whole like I don't do that no more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know like show your work, like teachers really on like showing your work and whatnot. Now like I don't gotta do all I gotta do is what's this, times this. Cool. And now I know. Now I know how much money I made this week, or now I know how much money I have left in my account. Like you know what I'm saying? Like it, that's what I do. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And it's just like I've like my parents always just tell me like when you're a little kid you're so big on school and one night it's like I don't not remember that. I
Right,
do
and you
not
know like
remember that.
puberty really changes, like that's it's usually around puberty age for boys when
Uh-huh.
that changes.
Yeah. Like I've always remembered myself like, do I have to go? Is this like,
Right.
do I really need this? Like, and yeah, it's a very key thing nowadays to have a diploma and whatnot instead of not having a diploma. But it's like, I've always went because my parents made me. If I really had a choice, I would not go to school. I would
Mhm.
have not went. I would have not gotten a diploma. I would stayed home and play video games and whatnot. Like, you know, who knows what have been now. But
Right.
I went because my parents forced me to go. You know what I'm saying? My parents forced me to go. My parents told me you have to go. It's the law and the whole shit, which I get that.
Which I mean, California for a while, it was like one of the strictest, like
Hmm.
in the state.
Yeah, like my cousins would stay home from school like because they're either sick or whatever. Because my aunt's a very big clean person. She loves
Mhm.
cleaning. Like her house is spotless clean like all the time. But the downfall with that is you don't get all the sickness that comes with it. So your body isn't immune to all this shit. See, like
Right, right. You get the
my
onset, like everybody else has already been exposed, but you.
yeah, my family, for example, on the other side isn't like my of course my mom is like wants the house clean, but she isn't like staying up half the night clean. You know what I'm saying? My
Mm.
aunt's staying up the whole night just cleaning, then she'll go home. She'll sleep throughout the whole day. You know what I'm saying? Like
Right,
that's how my aunt is. My mom isn't like that. So we would get the sickness, and then my cousins will later get sick, and like you said, like, oh, we already been through that, like, you know what I'm saying. So
mm.
like my cousins would be home a lot, like they will get home and shit, or stay home, and they stayed home like a month, 2 months span, that they got letters from the school district saying you got to come to school, or you know what I'm saying, like it
Right.
was that bad, you know what I'm saying.
Mhm.
So like yeah, it was like a key like thing in one, but it's not even like my even like my mom would be like, hey, you want to stay home from school, like like she would be like lazy, like, you want to stay home, okay, we'll stay home. Or we'll ask my mom, can you stay home? She'd be like, okay, you can stay home. And she'll call him up like, my child is sick. The whole I've learned from my mom is, if you want to stay home, say you're sick.
Right.
And that's how I've kind of gotten out of like going to work and just say I'm sick. Because what are they gonna do? Test you? Go to the doctor? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know
Right.
now, like, schools, but what, when it would test you, like, oh, you were sick, like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
that was my key thing with my mom is, if you stay home, say you're sick. And if your teacher asks you, say you were sick. Say you were throwing up. Say you had diarrhea. Say something. Like, you know what I'm saying? Don't just be like,
Mhm.
I just want. If you just say, I just want, they ain't gonna absent you. But if you say you're sick,
Right.
you can stay home. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? And my mom was very keen on that. Like,
Right.
and plus even during COVID, my mom me and my mom both got like really sick, and there was times during that whole like January to June when in one night my mom was like, y'all want to stay home, y'all want to stay home, y'all want to stay home, and
Right.
then like eventually they had they stayed home because of COVID and whatnot, and they did all
Mhm.
like thinking back then, like they were doing that. I was like, wow, that sounds really weird. Like everyone was staying
When they
home because,
started doing the COVID lockdown.
yeah, with the COVID lockdown, and like
Mhm.
where people were on Zoom the whole time and whatnot, like thinking about that was like really weird and shit. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like like when it was happening, like it was all like it was weird, but I got used to it. Now when you think back on it, 2 years after, 2 years now, you're like, damn, like,
See, I okay, so back then, the only thing I noticed that was weird because I was working at a job that required me to go in throughout the whole lockdown.
mm-hmm.
Um, so
See,
I
I wasn't
never,
working. I was at home all the time.
yeah, like not all jobs, like most jobs were not. Like I was working at a job that delivered food
Yeah, yeah.
to
You're working at a
stores.
bread company, right? Or
Yeah.
something. Okay.
Mhm. So so when that happened, like I was working. The only thing weird I noticed was that there was nobody on the road. Like that was the weirdest part for me. Like because my life experience was like, we still have neighbors coming out, hanging out and stuff like that. Like we didn't really experience the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah,
Um
like,
but I definitely saw like through social media and like stuff like that about all of everybody's experience like being locked inside.
in like, yeah. I hear what you're saying. Like being locked inside and everything. Like it was really weird when you would go on the road and there would be no one there. Like my dad loved it. Like he would go to work and come home in an hour. Like that. He was like, man, y'all can stay like this for the rest for until I retire. I'll be cool. Like but he still got like he was still tired of like, man, I want this COVID shit to be over. But at the same time, he was like, man, this shit is cool. Like you know what I'm saying. But
Right.
and then when COVID was not as bad, or it was going up or going down at
Y-
least going down.
yeah,
He
like when it
starts
became endemic and stuff.
um he started you know seeing more people on the road. He was like, man, I fucking hate going to work.
Yeah, it
Like,
seemed like it got worse than it was before. But
now
like, I was
everybody's on the
also
road.
yeah, I was experiencing like, a lack of people being on the road, but I don't know if it was actually worse than it was before. But like I feel like it was because, more people are just like, I just want to be out. I just want to be out.
Well, when you're locked in the house for like a
Yeah.
year, you you
Hmm.
you want to be out of the house for a fucking year. You want to get out of the house because when you're locked, like being locked up in the house. Well, I was locked up in the house for like 5 years, like
Hmm.
because I didn't go nowhere. I kind of went into this mood of I just want to sit at home and just play video games.
Right.
I
And
was in
I've
my,
always lived that life. Like I've always been like I've never been the most social. Like I used to like, every once in a while go bowling, hang out with friends and stuff like that. And like after I finished high school, I spent a lot of time with my friends. But like before COVID even happened, like a year before, I already like, it's just spending like through 2019, I was just spending most of my time at home. Before like a year before COVID started. I was at home and I worked. Like that's all I did.
well,
And
like
there's like my work gap and I literally just stayed home. Like I just stayed at home, didn't do anything.
well
Like
now
I
that's what I
already
do.
lived that life. Huh?
Well, now that's what I do. I go to work and I
Yeah.
stay home. But like
Um,
before all that, I was literally at home. Like I'll go out with some friends and whatnot. Like I wasn't like antisocial or nothing. Like no, no, no. But I just wanted to be at home. And then when COVID
mhm.
happened, it was like I'm already at home now, so this doesn't like really affect me or nothing. But like this staying at home shit or whatever. But like when it finally erupted and like my theme was like the mask. Like I hated wearing the mask. Like I hated wearing it.
I never minded it.
I
Um,
hated wearing that shit, bro. Like even I despise because I would get hot. My face would get
mhm.
hot. I would get sweaty. And I'm just like, and then like when you when a person like gets hot and they get sweaty, like that starts to like irritate them. You start to get mad and upset because you want to get this shit out, and then like but you can't because of it was kind of like the law. You know what I'm saying?
Right, right.
And when I then
Yeah,
when they finally
that's
like when I
crazy.
went to work, like I had to wear a mask. So like
Mhm.
that irritated them, and I finally found a mask that didn't fucking like get me all sweaty in the neck, so I was cool. And then they finally lift up the mask and shit. I did have to do I was like, thank the Lord. Like I was just like, man, don't you not tell me I ain't wearing no mask no more. You
See,
know what
I
I'm saying?
never minded the masks. Like they never
Nah,
bothered me.
I
Like,
hated wearing that shit.
you know,
I hated wearing that shit. If any chance, I would. That's why I was home all the time. Because if I went out, I had to wear a mask.
see the
Cause I
way
was.
the way we do it right now is okay, so I work at the school, right? So
Hmm.
what we do there, or at least what a subset of people do, is if you're in close contact with somebody and they start getting symptoms, really it's them that should be wearing the mask because it helps lower the spread of the symptoms. Like it doesn't really protect you yourself. But like if I was already around that person, then the possibility of me spreading the symptoms raises up. So like, not like at this point in time, not everybody needs to be wearing a mask, but like if you're around those type of circles, um, yeah, like that's just the protocol.
Hmm. Yeah, like
But like I personally, this is also me coming from like I never cared about wearing like I never disliked it. It never bothered me.
no, it bothered the fuck out of me. That shit bothered me. Man, that shit pissed me off. I still still see people wear masks. So the day I'm like, bro, you don't need to wear no mask no more, bro. Take that shit off.
No, I
Like,
wear a mask when I go to the school. Like, but I wasn't always like there was a large gap where I wasn't. But then my boss was like, "Hey, yeah, I'm getting these symptoms," and then I started wearing the mask again. So it's like, okay, he's getting symptoms. I'm gonna, just be precaution and stuff like that. But if you don't know anybody that has anything like that, like, and it doesn't matter if it's COVID, really. Like this was always my mindset before COVID even happened. It's like, oh, that like, how do you reduce these type of things? Um, so like I was already in that mindset before COVID already happened.
hmm yeah, like I don't know, like I just was never on that type of shit, like
Mm,
I just was never on that shit. That shit kind of any chance I had to not wear a mask, I didn't wear one.
mm.
Like if I went outside, I went to a park, I didn't wear a mask.
Which that that's fine. Like,
See, but other people like, you need to wear a mask, and I'm just like, I'm
yeah, if you're
outside.
outside, you have pretty much infinite space.
hmm But
Inside is the problem.
I've seen like people like on social media, like someone not wearing a mask outside, and they're like, why is he not wearing a mask? No one's like, cause he's outside. He's not around anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. People get fucking weird with this fucking mask shit. Still, even though it's
Uh,
lifted till this day, motherfuckers get weird about this shit. Why you not wearing a mask?
right. And see, I'm not in that standpoint. See, I'm at the like, if you're not wearing a mask, I don't care. Like, I don't care. It's a personal decision at the end of the day.
Well,
Like,
now
but
it
this is
is.
well, I think it always should have been. Um, but like with my standpoint, like I'm still gonna logically wear a mask myself. Um, Logically, I think it's you know more sound to like in certain in the specific situations that I mapped out before, um, to wear a mask. Um, but I also entirely believe it's up to the person, always since the beginning of it.
hmm Yeah, I hear what you're saying. I
Like if
don't.
you're outside, a mask
Mm,
is usually not necessary. If you're outside close to people and any of you have symptoms, specifically the person having symptoms should be wearing a mask. But if you're in contact with them without a mask, then you should as well.
hmm Yeah,
And it,
I don't
yeah,
know. Like, I don't know. But like, I don't know. Like, COVID's still a thing, but just like you don't even hear about COVID no more.
right, right.
You don't even hear about this shit. Like,
Yeah, it's not like the end of the world.
well, now it's not. Before, like, shit, what happened in New
Yeah, a lot
York
of
or what?
people thought like I didn't like I was looking at numbers and stuff for a while, and it's like it's not the end of the world. Like, yeah, it's scary. It did like awful things. Um, but like if you just compare it, like just it's like, oh, it's a pandemic. Let's look at previous pandemics. Let's look at them. Let's do comparisons. Okay, so we have a lot of people. It's tragic. A lot of people died, but it's like we have a lot of people. It's not the end of the world. It's going like it doesn't have an extremely high like death sentence. But it has a fairly high death sentence still. Like it's scarier than a lot of other diseases, like in modern times. Um,
Yeah.
but like but now at this point it's like it's calmed down with the variants. Like the deadliness isn't as high as it was at the beginning.
Well,
Like it's
shit. Some people say like the variances were worse. Like my
some
mom.
like yeah, some of them like it depends on the variant. Um, but the contagious value, like there's more than one value to be looking at. Like some of them are less contagious, some of them are more contagious. It
Yeah. Like
and it by far is not the only coronavirus that humans like. There's more than one coronavirus. Like there's always
well,
been more than one.
Corona
It's
was
just
basically the flu, wasn't it? Like it was the flu, but it was like the times two, wasn't it?
yeah, like a corona. Some flus are a coronavirus. I like I think the common cold is a coronavirus.
Hmm. Yeah.
It, but it like there's different things. Like it's more than just saying simply that it's a coronavirus. It's specific. Like especially since like this was like heavily advertised as the coronavirus. Like, you know, it'll be harder to get that concept into people's heads that there's not just one coronavirus. Like, and I mean, adding that there's variants, they're going to think any future coronavirus is just another variant of this one, which is, you know, might not be true.
Well, yeah, like it's I don't know. I it's just like when I stopped paying attention to this shit a long time ago. Like the whole
Right.
coronavirus and the variants, I stopped paying attention because it was
Right. I have too. Like, I haven't really had any conversation.
like once the whole like the Russian shit happened and whatnot,
Mm-hmm.
and what was Russia attacking in? What country were they attacking?
Russia is
They attacked some country, I forget.
Ukraine.
Ukraine. Ukraine. That you stopped hearing about Corona. You
Right.
know,
It's because it's what's spoken on the news.
you know what I'm saying?
It's
Then,
like it's what everybody hears. Like, you know, it's yeah, you stop hearing about it because nobody's hearing about it.
well, yeah, and then like when the Russian Ukraine shit calmed down, which that was like a month or 2 months of Russian Ukraine shit, then you start hearing it was like an every day, every week shit. You heard about a school getting shot up, or you heard about something getting shot up. There was like in last month, there was like 10 shootings in last month. And you like it was those shootings was usually like it would happen and then like you would go years without hearing or a year and then you hear about another one, then you go another
Right.
year or year, 2 years, and but like the last month of last month, I think. Was it last month or like the month before that? There was like 10 shootings, 20
Yeah,
shootings
that's
in the
wild.
last month.
Math. Yeah.
I was like, this shit's crazy. Like, like my big sister was like, because she has a child, and like
Right.
he's like 3 or almost, he's gonna be 4 like next year, but he's starting to get like, you know, should he go into school this year? Should he go into school next year? And my big sister was like, if I heard about any shooting happening in my child's school, it's World War III. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like in the last past month, my sister's been really keen on like, should my child go into like school and
Mm.
whatnot over the past month because of all these shootings and shit. Like this shit starts to get crazy.
Right.
Like
It's wild. Mm.
like there was a fight in my store like what last week, and I didn't even know about it until my mom told me like the next day because my mom and little sister went into my work to get some shit, and I was on grocery side. You've been to Walmart, right? There's grocery side, and there's like the like the house shit side,
Yeah.
GM side or whatnot.
Yeah.
I forgot what they call them.
General merchandise, GM
General,
side,
yeah,
and
general
the
merchandise, and yeah,
yeah, the grocery side or whatever it's called.
yeah. So they're on the whole other side than I was. I didn't even hear about this. Like no one told me about this till the next day. My mom told me this went on the last night or the night that they went in. That there was a big old fight in one night. There was like about boys and girls. Like it was a big old fight and shit. A big old family was getting into a fight. And my mom and little sister were like in the middle of it and shit and whatnot. I was like, that shit's crazy. I was like, wow. Like I think my mom said something where like, what the hell are y'all doing? Some shit.
Called.
Like
Hey
and then
Jacob,
huh.
can you pause it real quick?
Okay, so we're back.
Look.
So um you have to go get food,
Mhm.
Itchy?
Yeah.
Okay. So Oh shit. But all right. What'd you get for dinner?
Philly cheesesteak.
Philly cheesesteak?
Yeah.
Man, I want me some Philly cheesesteaks. I haven't had those in a hot minute actually. Some Philly
Oh
cheesesteak.
yeah. Oh,
Nah,
good.
man, you make me hungry.
I'm sorry, man.
You was make you was making me starving right now. But all right. So, have you watched any of the Star Wars or Marvel shit?
Like, which ones are you talking about? Because, like, I have in the past, but I'm not. I haven't watched that much of the new stuff. Like, I don't have Disney Plus or anything like that. Um, the last movie I've seen was Top Gun Maverick.
Wait, last what?
Not that, but I'm saying like I haven't watched like many Marvel movies recently.
Okay. Well, like okay, so you know how Warner Bros owns DC,
Mhm.
okay? And Disney owns Marvel,
Right.
okay? This is in my opinion. Other people can think differently, or you could think differently. But in my opinion, Disney literally has made a whole like thing with these Star Wars and Marvel movies. Even though yes, Lucas did one, two, three, four, five, and six. I don't know if he did Rogue One. I don't know if he did.
Rogue One was Disney.
Okay, Rogue One was Disney. Okay, so Lucas did one, two, three, four, five, six. Okay, he made that platform, right?
Hmm.
Disney made the rest of Star Wars,
Except that you're also there's also the books,
except the books also.
which
My
sets up the lore for the
yeah,
entire
yeah,
universe.
which I've been reading them books, and those books was like crazy.
Mm.
Warner Bros. Just has DC, and like yes, like uh, what's it called? Like the Joker movie, the newest Joker movie that came out was a great movie.
Right.
Batman was a cool movie. Like it was cool. Like Warner Bros. Are making cool movies, but they're using different actors for like different like roles, like or different actors for the same role, like Batman.
Like yeah, I understand. Like you want them to extend the same story as
Well,
like you
yeah,
want
like
because that's one way because at the end of the day it is just an act like it is just like a comic, right? And if you
mhm.
go over the years of these comics, like they've never been the same, right? There's always a new artist, right? There's always a new rendition. Um, like that's always been like that's where like the multiple Spider-Mans really come from. Like there's always been different authors for different generations of Spider-Man. I have, for instance, the like an old original copy of Spider-Man #1, but I also have Spider-Man the original copy of Spider-Man 2099. Right? Those are two completely different Spider-Mans.
Indeed, but the thing about that is there's a thing called the multiverse. You know what I'm
Exactly, but
saying?
like that was made up over time.
Indeed, it was made up over
Right.
time, but they what Disney did or Marvel kind of did this, and Disney's just like following with it, is they put everything together. Everything's in the
Mhm.
same type of storyline, you know. Even though yes, you have Spider-Man 2099 and you have Spider-Man 1, but there's the multiverse where they can come together and be in different timelines and the whole shit. Like, yeah, that is cool. That will makes it different with DC. I don't know if DC has a multi. If DC had a multiverse, then this shit would be different. It would, but Warner Brothers is is just doing a bad job with DC. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
Like,
right.
yeah, they make some good movies, like the 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 Justice League. Uh, shit, I gotta sneeze. The Justice League movie that they extended it for like 4 hours or some shit.
Hmm.
Basically, every cutscene of known man they put in the movie made it a whole brand new movie, which
Right.
was cool. Like I liked it. It was it was 4 hours, but it was a cool movie. And then they make another Batman movie. It's a whole different person. It's not Ben Affleck anymore. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
but I think what you've just enjoyed the advent of the multiverse in the movie series of Marvel. I don't think it's 100% necessary for every superhero lineage to follow the same pattern because at the end of the day, it's just fiction. It's not. It's like I think there's room for multiple ways to do art. Like you know what I'm saying?
Like, well, yeah, I know what you're saying, but the thing about me is Marvel started with Iron Man. Well, actually, no, they started with Hulk, but basically started with Iron Man. It went up.
Mhm.
They made like literally there's a whole timeline of movies to watch from start to finish, and they're still
Right,
going with that finish part. Like it's still like
right.
extending. You know what I'm
I
saying?
definitely think it's better for branding for what they did.
But DC, it's there's this movie, and there's this movie, and there's this movie, and there's this movie. You know what I'm saying?
Right,
It's
you're
just
not as
there.
attached to the character because it's a different person.
Well, it's not like it's not even just. It's just like it's just they're just bringing out movies, basically. They're just
Right.
and like the movies could be cool, but like Spider-Man has some enrollment with Iron Man. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Or Hawkeye has something with this Loki. Like like there's
And then Batman has an affiliation with the Teen Titans, and
well, yeah. You haven't seen Teen Time like they have the robot dude, of course, but like
right,
in just but that's about it. Like the Teen Titans hasn't even came into. I thought that was Robin Hood. Robin that
yeah,
had it.
Robin is the lead of the Teen Titans, which is
Yeah.
Batman's sidekick.
Okay. So that being said, like they when who did Batman before Ben Affleck? Christian Bale. Christian Bale. He did Batman, and they set up a whole Robin thing with Christian Bale's last movie. Now we don't. There's been no Robin. You know what I'm saying? Like there has been no Robin.
Right,
Like you knew he was gonna be Robin, and now they kind of like deleted that out. In one, you know what I'm saying? Like Warner Bros just deleted it out and called it a day or whatever.
right.
With Marvel, when they introduce a character, they they explode it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
They make it into very something big. They make a show about it, or they make another movie about it. You know what I'm saying? Like everything with shows and movies are connected together. That's excuse me, and that's even with Star Wars. They've connected this whole thing together. Star Wars with Marvel, the whole shit with the
Right,
shows and movies, and that's what I like. With DC, nothing's connected. It's all just this is happening, then this is happening, then this is happening, then this is happening. There's no connection.
right. Which I still think it's a valid form of art, but I definitely also believe that it's a negative point onto their ability to advertise to their audience. Um,
Uh huh.
because like connecting everything, like you might not necessarily like enjoy this one particular movie, but you want to put together the whole puzzle.
Yeah,
Um,
like but it's Marvel though. Like I'm
yeah, I'm saying like if DC did that, then like they probably would do better. Um, I think it's necessary. No, because I also believe that type of like if Marvel allowed for stuff outside of the main spectrum. Because if it's already a multiverse, you can assume that certain aspects of the multiverse doesn't know about the rest of the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like you can go all Rick and Morty with it and have aspects of Marvel doing the same thing that what DC is doing. And I think it's a completely valid form of art because then you can really explore the character more. Like with that in mind, like all these ideas that people have of like what Spider-Man should be is like, oh, have this person be Spider-Man, have this person be Spider-Man. In this way, like having disjointed multiverses, you can allow for anybody to be Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You can allow for anybody to be Batman. You can allow for any version of Batman to not have a Robin. You can allow the creativity of the person making the film. Whereas if you're just trying to copy one for one, like a formula that has been developed by somebody else, then like it becomes cookie cutter. And it definitely helps, like having that massive of a connection definitely helps for branding. It definitely helps for them to sell more movies.
Yeah. Like you're not
So I
wrong.
think they should do it. I think they should do it, but I also think Marvel should open up the door to like, I think Disney should open up the door to allowing more experimental storylines as well. That
That's
are
the whole point of the multiverse. You know what I'm saying?
uh
But with the multiverse, they're connecting it all together. You know what I'm saying? It's
right.
still all
That's why I'm
connected.
saying adding disjoint sets would
Like
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 do you know what I mean by disjoint set?
no, what do you mean by that?
Okay, so it's a part of the whole set of the multiverse. But
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, so you have the multiverse area that knows about each other, and then you have the
Mm-hmm.
multiverse area that doesn't know about each other.
Mm-hmm.
So then you can have the types of movies that DC is doing in the Marvel universe that doesn't affect anything else in the Marvel universe that's connected to each other. And it still supports the multiverse theory as long as like you're working under set theory, which you know the multiverse theory is the set of all universes that are connected to each other. And all you have to do is expand that to the set of all universes that are connected to each other by being in the same set of all universes that exist, but they are disconnected to each other by the fact that some of them don't know about each other.
Okay. Um,
Does that make sense?
you kind of confused living shit out of me. You confused. Like
Was it clear or was I like glitching out?
you were talking clear. It's just you confused the
I
hell
don't
out of
know.
me.
That's just the way I view it. That's how I don't get upset about that type of
Like
stuff. Because like
oh
I have a broader view of about how it could work.
yeah. Okay, so there's like three Spider-Man. There's Tobey
Mm-hmm.
Maguire's, there's Andrew Garfield's, and there's the new guy. I forgot his
And
name.
then there's all the Spider-Mans that have existed through all of the authors that made all of the comics and history of Spider-Man.
Indeed. Okay. But I'm just talking about the three Spider-Man that's actually been in live
I
action
know, but
films.
like those are who are known about. Like in the current Marvel universe, those are the Spider-Mans that know about each other.
The you talking about the live action ones?
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. You are right. Which they pop I assume they plan on going at it a little broader than when I
Right.
giving
They
more
like I'm saying if they just add like having it at this blatant at this point in the storyline, because at one point in the whole multiverse of things, they weren't really meeting each other, right?
well
It
no.
was budding each of their stories until they did meet each other in the movie storyline, right?
Yeah, like Tobey Maguire's made his story. Andrew
Mm-hmm.
Garfield did his, and then I forgot the other fucking dude's name. The newer Spider-Man made his. But the thing about the newer Spider-Man is the story is different. It's not
Right, right.
like Andrew
Well,
Garfield's or Tobey
like I said,
Maguire's.
like that's why I brought up Spider-Man 2099. Spider-Man 2099 is a completely different Spider. It's a set in a futuristic world where everybody's like hooked on this one specific drug. I mean, it sounds very modern to me, but like it's like a futuristic like
Well,
future
okay,
tech like world.
Okay. Okay, what I mean by that is the newer Spider-Man didn't do the whole Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire shit. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Where Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield are basically from the first film. Okay, from the first film is basically the same movie,
Right.
except Tobey Maguire's happens a little differently than Andrew Garfield. But how he becomes Spider-Man is basically the same. In the newer Spider-Man, you don't see that. You don't know how he became a Spider-Man. You don't see it because they kind of just put him in there and called it a day. And now they're making a story. You know what I'm saying?
Toby and the Toby Maguire.
No, 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 no. What's the newer Spider-Man's name? What's his name? The actor. I used to know his name.
I I know who you're talking about, but I can't think of his
He
name. But
made he made a movie with 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 Mark Wahlberg.
I know who you're talking about. It's not gonna help me figure out his name. I mean, I can just search it up.
Hold on, Spider-Man: No Way Home. No Way Home. Who played the actor? This doesn't tell me. This gave me a release date. Spider-Man. I know his name. Cast. Tom Holland. That's it. Tom
Tom
Holland.
Holland. Yeah.
Okay. Wait, when they introduced Tom Holland into the Marvel shit, they didn't. They just introduced him in another movie. You know what I'm saying?
Well, okay. So you said the Andrew Garfield was pretty much a carbon copy of the Tobey Maguire, but like I'm remembering that Andrew Garfield didn't have webs actually sling out of his actual wrist. Which
Yes.
like that's more accurate to most of the comics. Um,
Yes.
most
Tobey
Spider-Mans never did.
Tobey Maguire's one. The web came from his skin. Okay,
Uh,
with Tobey Maguire. With Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland, they have this thingamajiggy on the wrist, and that's how they do the webs and whatnot.
yeah, the
You get what
web
I'm
slinger.
saying?
They pretty much the only things they really had was the spider sense and the ability to crawl on walls.
Yeah. So, that being said, Andrew Garfield and Tom Holland are the actual, like, where they actually follow the comics or some shit. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Which I read the comics, but I don't even like that. Tom Maguire was the one where they actually came from the skin and whatnot. But the thing about Andrew Garfield and Tom Maguire is they went from the bottom and then went from the top. You know what
Right,
I'm saying? With Tom Holland, they kind of started from the top and went up. You know what I'm saying? They
right,
haven't
because
went,
they didn't start the origin story the same way.
yeah, they kind of went to the top and went up. They didn't go where he got bit in one eye and the whole shit. They didn't do all that, which
Right, right.
I feel like it
Which in
kind of
not
sucks.
all Spider-Mans was it through a bite. Like I'm talking about in the comics and stuff.
What happened to some of them then? Like, how did they?
If I remember correctly, okay, so I don't remember entirely because I haven't read it in a long time, and nor do I have the entire set, so like I don't like know the whole story. But in
Uh
2099, it was more like how Osborn in the not Andrew Garfield, the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man turned into the Green Goblin. It was in like a chemical, like in a lab type of like he was
oh,
yeah
okay. Which that actually sounds more interesting, to be honest.
right.
Instead of getting bit by a spider, like that actually sounds more, I should say, realistic in a way.
Mhm.
Even though it's
Right.
unrealistic, but you get where I'm going at. But at the same time, who knows with the Tom Holland? They could do the Tom Holland one that way where he goes into a chamber and he gets like the Green Goblin. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Which with the Tom Holland one, there hasn't been a Green Goblin. There hasn't been, you know, none of that basically. Like they had Doc Ock in it. Like, have you watched the Tom Holland No Way Home or some shit?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that one was a that was a good movie. I like that.
Yeah.
And they brought shit from Tom McGuire's and Andrew Garfield's. Like they brought hella bad guys from different movies, which I feel like
Right.
was cool. And when I was like, okay, and then when the Doctor Strange one with the multiverse, it was even better. Like that was like you got to see a different type of side of like multiverse type shit. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
So they're expanding upon this multiverse. It started with I want to say with Loki or whatever the hell. Now they're going with all this type of like the multiverse is here to stay, from what it looks like.
Right. I feel like the way they'll do it, like my speculation is that they're going to try to keep branding the specific actors. Like the way I think they could do it as well is by like allowing, like, there's the movies that are the main line, and then they could have, like I said, like have the disjoint set. Because like I feel like if they had the higher budget and the lower budget stuff right separated, they could do lower budget movies as well. And produce like, but the thing is, I feel like they're going to just be continuing the main story arch, but like just extending it by like passing on the torch type of idea when the actors retire from playing that part.
Well,
Um,
from what I've seen, what they do with Iron Man and um, what's it called? Captain America. Do you know what happened with Iron Man and Captain America?
Captain America.
Yeah,
What about it?
I said, do you know what happened to Iron Man and Captain America?
Iron Man and Captain America. They died.
I didn't. Well, from what I saw, Captain America didn't die. He was old, like,
Yeah, yeah.
but I don't think he's
He
died.
went.
Just
I think he went back to a normal life, didn't he?
yeah, he went back to a normal life and like he basically got old. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Iron Man died. That was him basically like I'm done with Iron Man. Even though yes,
right.
they have this multiverse subject now, so they can bring back Iron Man in a different way. Basically, the multiverse is them. If someone retires from that character, they can bring another actor in and bring in the
Yeah,
multiverse and
that's
call it.
that's what I think. That's how I think they're going to use it. But I think they could do more with it than just that. Um, but yeah, like I
Oh,
think that's
definitely
how it'll work.
they're gonna do more than just that. They're gonna expand. Oh, like you got to see a different like they had another Miss Marvel, I think, or
Uh,
yeah, Miss Marvel or whatever the hell the Marvel girl. In Doctor Strange, she was black. She was
like,
a
dude, they could do so much crazy stuff. Like, have you seen like Marvel like zombie? Like they were fighting themselves, but they were zombies.
no, I haven't seen Marvel Zombies.
Like it's yeah, it's like there's so much they could bring to like movie form by this, because then it opens up the entire world of all the comics that have existed.
Hmm. Yeah, most definitely. Like you
Because there's
like
storylines that have existed that don't necessarily have to be put into the main one, but they could be like one-off storylines that could come out of it. Like maybe it's a show, not a movie. Maybe it's a Disney Plus thing.
well, the Disney Plus shows are connected for the most
They
part.
don't all have they don't all have to be like, I mean, I feel like that's what they're going to keep doing, but I think in the long run that's going to limit them to what they feel comfortable with connecting to everything. But I don't think everything, like, if they could be all in the same universe, but not everything has to be interconnected to each other so tightly.
Hmm. Yeah, but I feel like Marvel is gonna just connect them all together because that's what they've been doing for the past 10 years. So
Yeah, I
like
agree.
like you said and I think the fans are gonna have a problem with that if it's not being even though yes it's a Marvel movie, but if it's not connected, they're gonna be like,
Well,
what's the
I
point of
mean,
watching it?
if they just understand basic set theory, which I mean is kind of a tall order to ask of somebody that doesn't have the time to just look at the basics of set theory. Um,
Hmm.
like the idea of a multiverse can be much bigger, much more complicated than everything just being like directly connected to each other.
Yeah, yeah, I hear what you're saying. And I don't, like I said, like, I don't know, like they Marvel has a key thing with this multiverse thing and wanting to expand a lot of it and
Right.
whatnot. And that's with Doctor Strange, they really expanded. Like they expanded as far as they have so far. They're probably gonna expand even more because, like, it was for like a split second, but they had a cartoon in Doctor Strange. Like, but it was like
Right.
maybe like 10 seconds, and maybe a 10-second cartoon takes what? How much you think a 10-second cartoon can take to make and whatnot?
Like just 10 seconds totally, or
Yeah, 10 seconds total.
hmm.
It's like 10. It could even be shorter, but like they had a 10. They were going through the multiverse, and there were cartoons like 10 seconds.
Right. Okay, yeah, that's how long does that take to make? Not long. Like I'm sure they used digital means.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
it,
Which that was basically like throughout the whole movie, 10 seconds ain't shit. Like 10 seconds, it was 10 seconds of a movie where they're
right.
going through a multiverse and they were a cartoon for 10 seconds and then they got out of it and the whole nine.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like
But hey,
like
man,
s-
I think we should call it the end of the show because
okay,
I gotta do a little bit of work here a second.
okay, buddy.
Um, I would love to continue, but I tried to start doing the work like without them noticing, and then they're all coming up to do the work.
Uh
So
huh.
so yeah, this is the end of the show.
All right. Uh, what do I say? Peace out, Girl
Mhm.
Scout.